Hey everyone, just before we begin this video, I made a mistake. So in the final episode of Kongming, but also when I finished Ghost of Marley McGee, both of them are first impressions reactions, and at the end of both of them, I did mention I was going to replace them with Jujutsu Kaisen. I said that for both. Jujutsu Kaisen will be replacing Ghost of Marley McGee on Tuesdays. In the meantime, this, your boy Kongming, will be replaced on Saturdays with Watchmen. So just to keep it clear and separate, what I say at the end of this video is false. Jujutsu Kaisen will replace Molly McGee, not your boy Kongming. Kongming will be replaced by Watchmen. Just letting you know that ahead of time. Anyways, enjoy the video.
And don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episodes 10 through 12 of your boy Kongming. That's right, we are finishing off the series today, and at least what we've got so far for the series. And yeah, I very much enjoyed this. This series surprised me in so many ways, and with the last episodes we got to, it started getting really heavy. Like it started to get really heavy and emotional, and it's made you like the other characters we've met throughout this, other than just Aiko and Kongming, have really shined. We have Kabe Taijin, we have now Nanami, and I'm really glad that they've put forth so much effort into making these other characters so dynamic and awesome as well. Because it allows the series to feel more full and, you know, moving. Like there's other stuff happening than just the stuff going on with Aiko and Kongming. Like you can have a couple episodes in a row with almost no Kongming whatsoever, and almost not even realize it. Because the depth you're exploring into Nanami and the pain she's been in for quite a while now is so enrapturing that it sucks you in and completely invests you. And now the main goal of the rest of this, again, at least season, is to save Nanami. Nothing else matters. Yes, we want Aiko to succeed in getting the likes and everything so she can go on to that festival. But right now, we need to save Nanami. She's stuck in this contract with a terrible producer slash manager who's taking advantage of her and putting out only what he wants for the band, not even caring what the band themselves want. In fact, actively telling them they're wrong for the way they've been doing things. And it's taken a toll on her, more so than even her bandmates. She has become regretful towards everything with the band. She hates working with them now. Not because of who they've become or anything. Surprisingly, it didn't actually delve into like her bandmates losing themselves as much. Like, there is a little bit of that kind of brought up, but it wasn't really, it wasn't the actual issue. And she never blamed them. And I actually really like that. She never, like, she never put the blame on them for all of this. It was always very clearly on the manager. And the worst part about it is that they're successful. They're pretty damn famous and popular just by following this manager, this producer's his rules, his regulations, his way of doing things. And so it kind of comes down to the argument of, how much do you want that fame and popularity? Are you willing to sacrifice your soul for it? It's the argument between creative freedom and commercialism, capitalistic control over everything you do in the industry. And this is a real issue that people face, unquestionably, and not just in music, in everything. Recently, Game of Thrones writer George R. R. Martin actually made a statement saying that he didn't want to be like Stan Lee, because by the end of his life and career, Stan Lee was a figurehead who didn't have the creative control and everything for his properties anymore. He was just there to sell comics. The comics, the characters he created, he wasn't in control of anymore. And George R. R. Martin said he never wants to be like that. He always wants to maintain that creative control. And yeah, that's valid. In fact, that's goals for anything out there. You should always want to maintain your creative control in that in a kind of field like that. And with Nanami, they gave that up. She and her bandmates gave that up to survive, and that's the most tragic part of it. They did so just so they could survive, just to be able to have the money to live. It wasn't out of greed or selfishness or ego or anything. They just wanted to get by. They were having trouble with money, with being able to live in that area. And because of that, because Nanami had seen how hard it was and how hard it was on her friends, she agreed to give up that control, to give up her soul for the money. Again, not out of selfishness, kind of the opposite, out of selflessness. And this is what hooks me into this show. When you bring in a character who, and in only a couple episodes, they become beloved. Not necessarily to the fans, but to you as a viewer. A character comes in, not at the beginning of the series, but later on, and through only a couple episodes, you love them, and you care for them. And you want to see them either succeed or whatever their story is asking of you to want for them. In this case, freedom. You want to see her and her bandmates free from this oppressive situation. And it delivers this desire through the most raw, intense manner it can. Through the visuals, through the music, through everything, to make you become so emotionally invested in her story that it makes you cry. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm proud to admit that. I'm a very emotional person. You guys know this. I cry very easily. And I'm proud of that. I've always been very proud of that. I am so proud of being so caring to where the slightest thing can set me off, because I hate seeing people hurting, or I love seeing people succeeding, or something just really meaningful happens and it just fills me with so much heavy emotion that I can't hold it in anymore. And so on and so forth. It's important to me that I can be like this. It's something I actually hold very dear to my heart. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like it's like I feel like it shows who I am in a way, and the kind of person I've strived to become. A person who just cares about others. And so I like that I get emotional like this. I mean, it's sometimes hard to deal with, especially when it gets my nose all stuffy. But I love still that I do get this emotional this easily. Even for fictional characters. Because getting this emotional for fictional characters, it's like, you take it a step further and you can see how emotional I get over real life situations. And I do. Sometimes, from my perspective, detrimentally so. I mean, I like that I do, but at the same time, it's like there have been points where I've gotten like really emotionally down. Like to a very, even dangerous degree. That's how bad it was at times. But I'm just at this point excited to see how this season's going to end. And that is my goal, my desire for these final episodes. Above else, I want to see Nanami and the group saved. Even if they don't end up joining Kongming and them, I want to see them saved. I want to see them be able to be themselves as Azalea again. To follow their passion rather than the ideals of someone else. honestly, I care more about this than any other part of this series right now. This so much effort was putting into making this stand out, to making this in like exceptionally emotional and intense, that it hooked me so hard that it's kind of my favorite part of the entire series now. And Nanami's my favorite character at the moment. Mind you, that's just like a temporary spur of the moment thing. I think overall Aiko is still my favorite, but for the moment, I am that invested in her character, in Nanami's character. Either way, we're going to get this going and see the final 3 episodes and how this closes out. All I can say is there better be a season 2. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah, everyone was saved. Not just Azalea, but even Karasawa, which surprised me. I was figuring we might get some backstory on him and why he is the way he is, because there's been little hints of there being more to him, or at least to his reasoning for the way he was pushing them and everything, but I didn't know exactly how it was going to go down. And I didn't expect him to necessarily be redeemed. These final episodes were fantastic. And this series is fantastic. And it's a surprise hit to me. This series came out of nowhere for me. I checked it out based on the title alone, because it's such a funny title. And the first episode, when I first saw that, wowed me. Just like the first time Kongming heard Aiko sing. It wowed me. And I knew I had to see more, and I was expecting it to continue to be good, but I was not anticipating how into this series I would get. How in love with this series I would fall. And as the episodes kept going on, and they just kept all being bangers, it just kept getting more and more apparent to me on how much I truly do love this show. And then Nanami was introduced. And her storyline and part in this series is without question my favorite. I said in the pre-thoughts that, like, she was my favorite character as of, like, just that moment. She's my favorite character, just period. Her story, her arc, everything that they do with her in this is phenomenal. And my hope for her was achieved. She was saved and is now going to be going back to her own music. Along with the other members of Azalea, her best friends. They were touched by Aiko's song and are going to follow their dreams now. And it's perfect. There was no better way that could have been closed out. And this is clearly only the beginning. They even directly say that. Not just for Nanami and Azalea, but for Kongming, for Aiko. They achieved their goal. They won the contest, but now they have to get ready for the festival itself. And yeah, I don't know if anything's been straight up confirmed, but there's got to be a season 2 at this point. And you know when it comes out, you know I'll be reacting to it. I'm sorry if I'm not saying like too much about like all the events that happened, about Kongming's strategies and everything, and stealing the likes, but then eventually giving them back. I just feel like there's not much to be said. Everything was right there in the episodes. It's something that doesn't need to be expanded upon, that doesn't need to be discussed, because everything was just properly given to us via Aiko's song, Dreamer. And these episodes wrapped up so well that it's like, what else am I going to say? What am I going to bring to this conversation? I don't know what I could add that isn't just made blindingly apparent by the tears that were streaming down my face watching these episodes, watching this finale. By the thumbnail I chose. Not just chosen because of Nanami being my favorite character, but because of the meaning of the scene. The depth of that embrace. It says everything about this series. I don't think this finale could have been done better. I truly mean that. Everything wrapped up well. And it was a journey getting there. But Kongming got us there. And I couldn't be more happy about that. I don't know where this would rank among my favorite anime and anything, but without question, I love this series. And now we just have to see where it will go in the future with a possible season 2. But in the meantime, the question kind of comes down now to what is going to replace your boy Kongming in this slot. And the answer should be simple, because it's something that we have to get back to. Something that we were taking a mid-season break from. In terms of, first impressions, reactions. and something that we've been needing to, resume once a spot opened up. And I think that this is the perfect spot, the perfect time to get back to Jujutsu Kaisen. I've missed it so much. I've been excited to get back into it, and so I'm so glad that now we're going to be able to get on to the second half of the season. But yeah, I still do want to make it pretty clear that this series shined in a way that I did not expect it to. And I'm so glad I decided to check it out. I'm so glad it has such a unique, funny name that it made me want to check it out. I started reacting to this around the same time as Spy Family. So I kind of, plus it's from the same anime season, so I kind of lump it in a lot with that. And I've seen other YouTubers do so too. I've seen, I think Mother's Basement and Giguk both lump them into the same discussion videos. And they're both comedic series that do take on some important topics. And it may, in fact, it definitely is an unpopular opinion, but I truly think that this series is better. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Spy Family more, and I understand the appeal of it, but I think that this series is better. I think that it's better made. The writing is more consistently great throughout, because Spy Family does have a couple of little dips. I believe that its ending for this season was just much more just powerful and intense than Spy Family's was. And I think, again, the consistency of Kongming has been just much better. It's been more consistently great and had less downfalls. I only like Spy Family more just because I find it more entertaining from a personal perspective. But I do think this series is better. And no matter what, I'm glad I've gotten to experience both. So now we move on. And yeah, like I said, we're going back to Jujutsu Kaisen. That will start right away next week. And hopefully, if it hasn't already been announced, season 2 is announced soon. And we get that maybe next year or something. Because I definitely want to see more. This was just, it was a treasure. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. Tell me your thoughts on these final episodes of your boy Kongming. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.